Sally. So in this tutorial, we are going to make croissant. Pardon me if I pronounce it wrong. For this tutorial, I am going to use this yarn, which is a velvet yarn. However, I am not going to show you with this yarn because it's kind of hard to see, so it's not suitable for beginners. So instead, I am going to use this pink yarn for the sake of this tutorial so that you can see it better. We are going to use 3.5 crochet hook. So you can use any yarn that you have as long as it is suitable with 3.5 crochet hook. So we are going to start by making a magic ring. So hold the end of your yarn and you're going to wrap the yarn around your two fingers like this. And you will have this X shape in the middle, which is right here. Now turn your finger around and hold the yarn like this. Now take your crochet hook. So this is going to be your first loop and this is going to be your second loop. So go under the first loop, grab the second loop and then twist your hook. Then you're going to release this magic ring from your finger while still keeping this shape. So hold and release. Now you're going to chain 1. So yarn over and chain 1 like this. Now you are going to insert 6 single crochets into your magic ring. So we're going to use an X-shaped single crochet. So to do that, you're going to insert your hook into your magic ring like this, yarn under and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 2 loops. So make sure that this yarn is on your left side like this, because this is what you're going to pull to close this middle of the magic ring. Now just continue this step until you have a total of 6 single crochets. 2, 3. If you don't have enough space, you can always just pull the end of the magic ring a little bit and give some space, because you have to crochet over this end right here. Then 4, 5 and 6. Now all you need to do is pull the end of your magic ring to close the middle. So pull until there is no hole in the middle here. Now once you are done, you're going to make a slip stitch into the first stitch. So this is your first stitch right here. You can see that we have this V shape. So insert your hook. And I am going to carry the end as I make my single crochet. So to carry the end, all you need to do is just put the end on top of your crochet hook and then just crochet like normal. Then you're going to make a slip stitch, so yarn under and pull up a loop, then just pull through. So what I usually do with my slip stitch is I pull my loop like this and pull the loop to tighten up the slip stitch. This is so that the slip stitch doesn't look as visible. Now moving on to round 2, you're going to chain 1 and you're going to insert an increase into the first stitch. So an increase basically means you're going to insert 2 single crochet in each stitch. So insert your hook into the first stitch right here, yarn under and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Now you're going to take a stitch marker, or you can always use a bobby pin or anything you have if you don't have a stitch marker. So you're going to insert the stitch marker into the first stitch. So this is the first stitch, insert it here. So this is going to act as your guide so that you know where the first stitch is, and this is going to help you determine when each round starts and ends. So to complete the increase, go back to the first stitch and make 1 more single crochet. So this is going to be your first increase. Now insert your hook into the next stitch, which is right here, and make 1 single crochet. So this is the pattern that you're going to repeat for 2 more times. So insert your hook into the next stitch right here and make 2 single crochets, which is basically an increase. 1 and 2, and then in the next stitch 1 single crochet, and in the next stitch an increase, so basically 2 single crochet into the same stitch, 1 and 2. So this is your slip stitch and this is your chain 1. So we are going to ignore these 2. So this is your last stitch right here. So insert your hook and make 1 single crochet. Now to finish off this round, remove your stitch marker and insert your hook into the first stitch, and you're going to make a slip stitch. And again, pull your loop and pull it like this to tighten up this slip stitch. Now moving on to round 3, chain 1, and we are going to insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. So you're going to insert your hook into the first stitch right here where we just made a slip stitch. So insert your hook and make 1 single crochet, and then take your stitch marker and mark the first stitch. Now continue inserting 1 single crochet in each stitch. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch 1 single crochet. So the total of single crochet that you're going to make in this round is 9 single crochets. So right now I have 5 single crochets, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Then remove your stitch marker and you're going to insert a slip stitch into the first stitch. Again, we are always going to ignore the slip stitch and the chain 1. So insert your hook into the first stitch and make a slip stitch and pull to tighten up the slip stitch. So for round 4, we are only going to be working in the front loops only. You can see that we have the front loop and then the back loop. So we're going to insert our hook into the front loop only. So go ahead and grab onto your front loop, and in the first stitch we're going to insert an increase. So make 2 single crochet into the same stitch, 1 and 2. Now take your stitch marker and mark the first stitch. Then we're going to make 2 single crochets. So 2 single crochets basically means you're going to insert 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So grab onto the next front loop and make 1 single crochet, and then in the next front loop, which is basically the next stitch, 1 single crochet. So 1 and 2. So you're going to repeat this pattern for 2 more times. So in the next stitch an increase, then 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and then an increase, 1 and 2, then 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Now remove your stitch marker and finish this round by making a slip stitch into the first stitch. Then pull the slip stitch to tighten it up. Now moving on to round 5. So chain 1. Now on round 5, we are only going to be working through the back loop only. So this is the front loop and this is the back loop. So we are only going to be working in the back loop of this round. First, we're going to make 3 single crochets. So insert your hook into the first stitch through the back loop only like this, and then make 1 single crochet. Then mark the first stitch. Then continue making 2 more single crochets into the back loop only, 1 and 2. Then we are going to make 6 increases. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make an increase. So this is your first increase, and then in the next stitch an increase, then in the next stitch, in the next stitch an increase, then an increase again, and then your last increase right here. Now continue by making 3 single crochets. So insert your hook into the next stitch through the back loop only and make 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. So since we work only through the back loop, you can see that we have this front loop stitch at the front like this. So this will act as a fold for the croissant. So now remove your stitch marker and you're going to insert a slip stitch into the first stitch. So insert your hook through both loops like this and make a slip stitch. Now you're going to chain 1. Now for round 6 and 7, you are only going to be making 1 single crochet in each stitch, and you're going to be working through both loops. So insert your hook into the first stitch and make 1 single crochet, then mark the first stitch. So just continue inserting 1 single crochet in each stitch. So the total of single crochet that you're going to make for this round is 18 single crochets. Just in case you need to count it and make sure that it's right. Now to finish off this round, remove your stitch marker and insert a slip stitch into the first stitch. So go ahead and repeat this for round 7. So after you are done with round 7, this is how it's going to look like. Now moving on to round 8. So chain 1. We're only going to be working through the front loop only. So first we're going to make 6 single crochets. So insert your hook into the first stitch through the front loop only and make 1 single crochet. Then take your stitch marker and mark the first stitch. Now just continue until you have a total of 6 single crochet. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we are going to make 6 increases. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 increase, 1 and 2 single crochet into the same stitch, then your second increase, your third increase, again an increase in the next stitch, and in the next an increase, and your last increase right here. Now we're going to continue with 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So finish off this round by making a slip stitch into the first stitch. Now you're going to chain 1, and for this round we're only going to be working through the back loop only. Insert the hook into the first stitch right here, and we're going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch. So insert the hook into the first stitch through the back loop only and make 1 single crochet. Then mark the first stitch. So just continue inserting 1 single crochet in each stitch through the back loop only. And the total of single crochets that you have to make is 24 single crochets. So right now I have 5 single crochets. So 6, 7, 23, and 24. So remove your stitch marker and insert a slip stitch into the first stitch. Now for round 10 and round 11, all you need to do is just insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. So first chain 1, and now we're going to work through both loops. So insert the hook into the first stitch and make 1 single crochet, and take your stitch marker and mark the first stitch. So just continue inserting 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So the total number of stitches is still going to be 24 stitches. So right now I have 10 single crochets, 11, 12, 13, 23, and your last stitch 24. So remove your stitch marker and insert your hook into the first stitch and make a slip stitch. So now go ahead and repeat this for round 11. So once you are done with round 11, this is how it's going to look like. So now moving on to round 12, first you're going to chain 1, and we're going to insert 1 single crochet in each stitch, but only through the front loop. So in the first stitch right here, grab onto the front loop and make 1 single crochet. Then take your stitch marker and mark the first stitch. So just continue inserting 1 single crochet, and the total of single crochet that you have to make is still 24 single crochets. So just continue this step until the end of this round. So once you are done, remove your stitch marker and insert a slip stitch into the first stitch. And then tighten up the slip stitch. Now on round 13, we're going to be working through the back loop only. So first you're going to chain 1, and we're going to make 6 single crochets. So insert your hook through the back loop only into the first stitch right here where we just made a slip stitch, and make 1 single crochet. Mark the first stitch with a stitch marker and continue making 1 single crochet until you have a total of 6 single crochets. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to do 6 decreases. So to do a decrease, what you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch through the back loop only, and then insert your hook again into the next stitch right here through the back loop only. So now you have 1, 2, 3 loops on your hook. So this part doesn't matter if you yarn over or yarn under. I'm just going to yarn under and pull the first 2 loops. Now you have 2 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through 2 loops like this. So that is how you're going to do a decrease. So you continue this until you have done 6 decreases. It's my second decrease. Your third decrease. Four. Five. And your last decrease. 6. Now we're going to continue by making 1 single crochet in each stitch until the end right here. So basically we are going to make 6 single crochets. So insert the hook into the next stitch and make 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now remove your stitch marker and make a slip stitch into the first stitch. Now chain 1. So on round 14 and round 15, all you need to do is just insert 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around until your last stitch right here. And you are going to be working through both loops. So insert the hook into your first stitch and make 1 single crochet and mark it with a stitch marker. Now in the next stitch, 1 single crochet. So the total of single crochet that you're going to make in this round is 18 single crochets. So right now I have 4 single crochets, 5, 6, 7. So just continue this until round 15. So basically 2 rounds. Now once you are done, remove your stitch marker and insert a slip stitch into the first stitch right here and pull your loop to tighten up the slip stitch. Now moving on to round 16, so chain 1 and you're going to insert the hook only through the front loop of each stitch, and we're going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch. So grab onto the front loop of the first stitch and make 1 single crochet, then mark it with a stitch marker. Now just continue in each stitch, and the total number of stitches that you're going to do is 18 single crochets, just like round 14 and round 15. So now just continue this step until the end of this round right here. Now once you are done, remove your stitch marker and insert a slip stitch into the first stitch right here and pull your loop to tighten up the slip stitch. Now chain 1, and for round 17 we are only going to be working through the back loop of each stitch. So first you are going to make 3 single crochets. So insert your hook into the first stitch only through the back loop and make 1 single crochet and mark it with a stitch marker. Then continue making 2 more single crochets. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 single crochet. So 2 and 3. Now we're going to make 6 decreases. So insert your hook through the back loop of the next 2 stitches like this, yarn under and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2. So this is going to be your first decrease. Now continue until you have a total of 6 decreases. 2 and 6. Then we're going to make 3 single crochets. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 single crochet, 1, and in the next 2, and in your last stitch 3. Now remove your stitch marker and make a slip stitch into the first stitch. And pull your loop to tighten up the slip stitch. Now go ahead and take your stuffing and you're going to insert your stuffing like this. And just use your crochet hook and poke it in because it is quite hard to reach with your finger. So I have stuffed it up and it looks something like this. Now we're going to move on to round 18. So first you're going to chain 1 and we're going to make a decrease in the first 2 stitches. So we're not going to make an invisible decrease, we're just going to make the normal decrease. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So insert your hook into the first stitch of both loop like this, yarn under and pull up a loop, then insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn under and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So this is how you're going to do the decrease. Now take your stitch marker and mark the first stitch. Now we are going to make 2 single crochets, so make sure that you don't insert any stitch in the 2 stitches that we have inserted a decrease. Now insert your hook into the next stitch, which is right here, and make 1 single crochet and then 1 single crochet again into the next stitch. So basically this is your 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. So this is the pattern that you are going to repeat for 2 more times. So make a decrease in the next 2 stitches, insert your hook, insert your hook, yarn under and pull up a loop, then insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn under and pull up a loop, then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Now make 2 single crochets. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 single crochet, 1, and in the next stitch 2. Then make a decrease. This is going to be your last decrease. And then make 2 single crochets, 1, and your last stitch right here, 2. Now remove your stitch marker and insert your hook into the first stitch and make a slip stitch and pull your loop. Now chain 1 and insert 1 single crochet in each stitch, and the total of single crochet that you are going to make is 9 single crochets. So this is my first stitch right here and I'm going to mark it with a stitch marker. Now in the next stitch 1 single crochet, so 2, 3 and 9. Remove your stitch marker and insert a slip stitch into your first stitch. Now on round 20, chain 1 and make a decrease in the first 2 stitches. And mark it with a stitch marker. Now you're going to make 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Again, make sure that you don't insert any stitch in the 2 stitches that we have inserted a decrease. So insert your hook into the next stitch right here and make 1 single crochet. Now repeat this pattern for 2 more times. Now remove your stitch marker and insert a slip stitch into the first stitch, which is right here where we mark, and pull your loop. Now all you need to do is just stuff the space that we have right here. So this is how I stuff mine. It is much easier if you use your hook and twist it like this. And you're just going to do this for a couple of times until it is full. Now once you are done, just take your scissors and cut your yarn. Now you're going to pull through the loop like this and take your darning needle and thread in your yarn. Now we are going to close this hole up right here. So what you're going to do is just insert your needle and yarn through the middle of this stitch like this. So you're going to do this in each stitch, basically 6 times. So insert your needle and pull through, so you don't have to pull too tight. And then in the next stitch, pull. So just do this until you reach the end. Then once you are done, you're just going to pull your yarn and close the middle like this. Now insert your needle through the middle right here and just go anywhere you like and pull. So this is going to help make this end right here rounder. Now just weave in your yarn by doing this a couple of times. Now cut your yarn and use anything you have and poke this extra yarn into the croissant like this, and you are done. And this is how mine looks like with the velvet yarn. Now we are going to make the whipped cream. So to make the whipped cream, first you're going to make a magic ring. So hold the end of your yarn, wrap it around your 2 fingers, turn your fingers around and hold the end like this. Then go under the first loop, grab onto the second loop, twist it up, and release it from your fingers slowly while still keeping the shape, and chain 1. Now we are going to insert 8 single crochets into our magic ring. So insert your hook into the magic ring, yarn under and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So this is going to be your first single crochet, 7 and 8. Now just pull the end to close the hole up. Pull until there is no hole in the middle like this. Now you're going to insert a slip stitch into the first stitch, which is right here. So insert your hook and make a slip stitch. And again, I am going to carry the end as I work over my single crochet. You don't have to if you don't want to, but you will have to weave it in later on. Now pull. Now you are going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. Now to make a double crochet, just yarn over and insert the hook into the first stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So this is going to be your first double crochet. Now go ahead and mark it with a stitch marker. Now go ahead and insert 4 more double crochet into the same stitch. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then insert your hook into the next stitch. So the next stitch is going to be a little hidden right here, as you can see. So insert your hook into the next stitch right here and make 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So just continue until the end of this round right here. My last stitch right here, as you can see, this stitch right here is our slip stitch, so we're just going to ignore it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then just remove your stitch marker and insert your hook into the first stitch where we have the stitch marker and make a slip stitch. Now chain 1 and cut your yarn. Pull through and pull the end to the back to secure the end. Now take your darning needle and thread in your yarn, and you're going to weave in this excess yarn at the back. So just go through the back stitch like this and weave it in. So I will not weave it in slightly. I'm just going to weave it in and just make sure that the yarn is going to stay at the back, because I am going to glue it on top of the croissant later on. Then I'm just going to tie the two ends together. And of course, you don't have to tie too tight or else it's going to mess up with the shape. Then cut the two excess yarn like this. And this is my whipped cream with the velvet yarn. Now moving on to the strawberry. So first you're just going to make a magic ring. Then you're going to insert 6 single crochets into the magic ring. So insert your hook, yarn under and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. So do this until you have a total of 6 single crochets. Then pull the end to tighten up the magic ring and close the hole. Now insert your hook into the first stitch right here. And I am going to carry the end as I work over my single crochet. Now you're going to insert an increase in the first stitch. Then take your stitch marker and mark the first stitch. This part is really important because this is going to help you know which one is the first stitch so that you know when each round starts and ends. Now just insert one more single crochet into the first stitch to complete the increase. Then in the next stitch, insert 1 single crochet. So do this for 2 more times. Insert your hook into the next stitch and make an increase. 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet into the next stitch. And an increase in the next stitch. 1 and 2, and insert 1 single crochet into your last stitch. Then remove your stitch marker, and for round 3 and 4 all you need to do is just insert 1 single crochet in each stitch. So insert your hook into the first stitch and make 1 single crochet, and then mark the first stitch and insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 single crochet. So continue this for each stitch, and the total of single crochets that you're going to make is 9 single crochets. So right now I have 4, 5, oops, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Then before moving on to round 4, you're just going to flip your work inside out and make sure that the right side is on the outside like this. Now just continue this step for round 4. Now remove your stitch marker, and we're going to do a decrease. So we're going to do the normal decrease instead of the invisible decrease. So insert your hook, yarn under and pull up a loop. Then insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn under and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So this is going to be your first stitch, so mark it with a stitch marker. Then in your next stitch right here, insert 1 single crochet. And go ahead and repeat this step for 2 more times. So insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 decrease, and then 1 single crochet into your next stitch, and 1 decrease in the next stitch, and 1 single crochet into your last stitch. Now remove your stitch marker, and you're going to take your stuffing and stuff the strawberry. So it doesn't need a lot of stuffing. You're just going to stuff it up a little bit and make sure that it holds its shape. And once you are done, you're just going to cut your yarn, then pull through, and take your darning needle and thread in your yarn, and you're going to insert your needle and yarn into each stitch only through the front loop like this. So insert it in each stitch. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now pull the end to close the hole like this. Then you're going to insert your needle at the middle right here and pull through anywhere you like. And I'm going to do it one more time. So insert your needle through the same place and go through the middle. So this is going to help you remove the bump at the top of the strawberry. Now cut your yarn and use anything you have and poke the end to hide it inside of the strawberry. So you're just going to shape this strawberry until it looks nice, and right now it's going to look like this. Now we are going to glue on the whipped cream and also the strawberry, and I'm going to use a hot glue gun for this. So if you don't have a hot glue gun, you can always use a fabric glue, or you can always sew on the whipped cream and strawberry like this. So I pin the whipped cream just so I can see if I like how it looks on top of the croissant. I'm just going to remove a little bit of my pins. So just insert a little bit of glue and glue it. So while gluing, you will have to shape the whipped cream a little bit and make sure that it have this kind of like a wavy look to it like this. So once you are done gluing on the whipped cream, go ahead and take your strawberry and you're going to glue it on this center part right here. So just put on a little bit of glue and glue it on the center. Just press it a little while waiting for it to dry. And this is how the croissant look like. Now you can add charms like this or any key ring or keychain that you have. But if you don't have this kind of keychain ring, you can always just take your yarn, then go ahead and make a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, go ahead and make a loop like this. Twist your yarn and put your working yarn on top like this, and from the back you're going to pull it. Now insert your crochet hook and make sure that the end is at the back while the working yarn is at the front. Now tighten it up, and all you need to do is just yarn over and pull through. So you're going to chain how long you want your croissant to hang on your back. So this is totally up to you. So you're going to chain until you like the length, and I think I like this length, so I'm going to stop crocheting. Now you're going to take your scissors and cut your yarn and pull through and pull the end to tighten up this chain. Now take your darning needle and thread in your yarn, and you're going to insert it at the top of the strawberry. So just go through the top part like this and pull through all of it like this. You're going to make sure that the end is the same, so just pull, and you're going to tie a knot at the end. Just tie 2 to 3 knots and make sure that it's secure. Then go ahead and cut your yarn, then just pull until this knot is hidden inside of the strawberry. So just pull and it's going to look like this. So if you don't know how to hang it on your bag, I'm going to show you how. I'm just going to use this scissors as an example because I don't have a bag near me right now. Just insert it like this, and then you're going to insert your croissant inside of the loop. Just insert it like this, and then pull. So this is how you're going to hang it on your bag. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again with the next tutorial. Bye!